Greetings, Dungeon Masters. I am Mundar, and welcome back to Mundar Games. Today, we have another episode in our series of adventure reviews and how you can fit them into your campaign world. Today's episode will feature Master of the Fallen Fortress, and as always, these reviews do contain spoilers, so you have been warned. Master of the Fallen Fortress was written by Rob McCreary and published by Paizo Publishing in 2010. It was released both as a free download and in softcover as part of Free RPG Day 2010. As written, it was meant to be played by a group of first-level characters using the rules for the first edition of Pathfinder role-playing game. So, the written premise of this adventure is that a series of long-abandoned siege towers sit outside the city of Absalom. Built during some unnamed conflict, the towers were magically sealed by their forgotten creator upon his defeat. However, an earthquake has caused part of the tower to collapse, allowing it to be accessed for the first time in hundreds of years, and it's up to our intrepid band of new adventurers to go and check it out. The earthquake also opened an entrance to an underground tunnel of troglodytes, and a troglodyte druid named Toscar and his followers have taken up residence in the tower. The only other bit of story surrounds an adventurer who came to check out the tower but was captured by the troglodytes and will soon be sacrificed to their malicious god. As far as story goes, yeah, that's it. The adventure provides a few possible plot hooks to get the players to the tower. Perhaps they are members of the city guard sent to scout the tower for threats. A religious PC in the group may be asked by their church to go look for religious relics, or maybe a historian or wealthy collector has hired the PCs to hunt for valuable artifacts and will pay them for anything they happen to bring back. Once the players arrive at the tower, they will discover that the eastern side of the tower has indeed collapsed, allowing access to the lower levels. The entrance has an encounter with some wild dogs, and inside a giant spider has taken up residence. The stairwell to the second level has collapsed, however, so the players will have to climb the rubble of the outer wall to get to the second floor. The second floor sets up possible fights with a shocker lizard and some troglodyte guards, and has at least one possible trap. It also contains the stairwell to the upper 3 floors. Moving on to the 4th floor, we find a giant frog living in a room where rainwater has filled up part of one of the rooms. Next to that are some troglodyte guards, and one of Toscar's most trusted henchmen, Tulok, who is guarding the prisoner in the next room. If the players rescue the prisoner, he turns out to be a member of the Pathfinder Society, and will later help them join the organization if they wish. To do this, they will need to go up to the 5th and final floor, where they will fight Toscar and his albino crocodile pet. So what can we do with this module in our own worlds? Master of the Fallen Fortress should be pretty easy to drop into an existing campaign world. Because the story is fairly shallow, you shouldn't have to do a lot of conversion. Change the name of Absalom to the nearest large city in your world, and change the Pathfinder Society to whatever adventuring society exists in your world, and at that point you're basically setting neutral. You don't even need to use the backstory if you don't want to. For instance, if I was putting this in my existing campaign world, I would not worry about the city of Absalom or how the towers got outside the city. I'd just locate it outside of my starting village and make it a mysterious tower that's been locked for as long as anyone in the village can remember, but the earthquake has suddenly caused it to collapse and it's time to go adventuring. I'd then make the prisoner a member of my local adventuring society and we'd be off. The module was written for first-level characters, both as an introduction to Pathfinder and to Paizo's organized play program. However, the tower does have potentially 9 to 10 combat encounters. Now, only 1 or 2 of those encounters should provide any real challenge to your players. However, 9 to 10 encounters can constitute a significant time investment. I might consider cutting the bat swarm encounter as well as the giant frog. The bat swarm because it might be a difficult fight for new players who don't understand swarm creature mechanics, and the giant frog fight because it just sort of feels kind of random. In terms of monster conversions, almost everything in this adventure has a 5th edition equivalent. The only exception to that is the shocker lizard. So for the shocker lizard, what I would do is I would use the stats for the giant lizard, but I would give it a special attack that does 1d8 non-lethal electrical damage and have a dex save of 12 to take half damage. So how would I rate Master of the Fallen Fortress? On a scale of 1 to 10, for story, I'd give it a 2 or 3. I mean, there's really not much there, but hey, it was a free adventure. For enjoyment value, I'd give it a middle-of-the-road 5. I mean, there's not a ton of unique or interesting aspects to this module, but your players are going to have fun just playing. For ease of conversion, I give this a solid 9. Have a bunch of friends coming over and you want to play D&D on short notice, you could have this module prepped in under 20 minutes just by grabbing stat blocks out of D&D Beyond. Thank you once again for stopping and watching. If you've enjoyed this review, please hit the thumbs up button. If this is your first time here, consider hitting the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified when I do further reviews. If you have suggestions for things you'd like to see in these reviews, or if you'd like to share your experiences running this module, leave that in the comments down below. That's all I have for now. Remember, take care of yourself and each other, and remember that life is a one-shot adventure, so play it the best that you can. Cheers.